welcome. Thanks so much for being here. Before we get started, if you have a pillow or a blanket, it doesn't have to be, yoga props. It can just be from your bed or your couch. Go ahead and grab a blanket or a pillow or both. That might help support your practice today. So let's get started in a seat. So you might want to prop yourself up on a pillow or fold up your blanket. And if sitting's not comfortable for you, then you can lay on your back or on your side, no problem there. And once you get there, go ahead and soften your gaze. So wherever you're at, let the horizon line of your eyes soften a little bit. And then notice the points of your body that are connected to your mat. And what do those points feel like? Do they feel light, maybe heavy? You might notice the temperature. And if you've got bare skin touching the mat, you might notice the texture of the mat and what that feels like. And perhaps the texture of your clothes. And then if you can visualize those points just becoming nice and heavy. So wherever you're at, let the pelvis be really, really heavy. Let it sink into whatever is holding you. And then let's notice the breath. It might be tempting to take a big inhale, and if you want to, go for it, that's fine. But then see if you can let the breath come naturally. See if you can let it be organic. And perhaps you notice the qualities of the breath. You might notice its temperature or its texture. How quickly it moves. And where it moves. Let's take about a minute just to watch and notice the breath. And if other thoughts come in, that's fine. Just as soon as you notice them, redirect the attention back to the breath, no problem. Just a couple more breaths. Watching, noticing. And then let's bring both hands on top of each other. So you've got one palm on top of the other, or on top of the other hand, and bring your hands to your heart. So if you're laying down, stay laying down, no problem. Just bring your hands stacked over your heart. And you might close your eyes if you haven't already. And then let's visualize a nice ball of warm, bright light underneath the hands, kind of radiating from the hands. And perhaps you turn the corners of the mouth up just ever so slightly. Sticking with that visualization if it's comfortable. Inviting a sense of softening around the heart space. You can use the breath to help you explore that area. We'll be here for a couple more breaths. And we do this because especially when we're faced with times of fear or uncertainty, it's kind of our nature to hold a little bit and to close in and close off the heart, yeah? And there's actually this membrane that holds the heart, and physically it can get quite stiff and hard. So we're just sending a little intention to that space to give it a little more ease. And if you don't feel anything or notice anything, that's fine too. Just the attention helps. And release that after. You can bring your hands down. If you're on your back, stay there. If you're seated, let's come down to the mat. Laying on your back, knees bent. And you can bring the arms out to the side in cactus. Let's have the feet about hip distance apart. And then on an exhale, send the knees right, gaze goes left. Now inhale and bring the knees back to center, gaze back to center. And exhale, knees go left, gaze goes right. Keep with that flow, so bringing the knees to center on the inhale. And on the exhale, the knees go the opposite direction. You can continue to send the gaze opposite of the knees. Nice and gentle here. Paying special attention to the low back. And if there's any pain or pinching, you're gonna back off a little bit. And everything here is an invitation, so you don't have to do anything. It's always your choice. So let's do 2 more on each side. Nice and slow. For our purposes today, we just want to move really intentionally and slowly to keep the body pretty calm. You just want to have a little bit of opening, move some energy around. And regulate the nervous system. Really just be here. So we'll call this next one the last one. You'll bring your knees to center as you're ready. And then let's hug the knees in towards the chest. Give yourself a nice hug. And perhaps rock from side to side. Massaging the low back here. And then let's cross one ankle over the other and rotate the knees in the same direction. So the hands are on the kneecaps and both knees are going in the same direction. Here we're massaging the sacrum, that big bony plate at the back of the pelvis, bottom of the spine. And reverse the direction. And you might notice some tender spots. That's all good information to have. uncross the ankles. And this time we're going to rotate the knees in opposite directions. So the knees come towards each other and then they go apart. Doesn't matter which direction you start in. And notice here, a lot of times the hips have a lot of information to say. We don't need to analyze anything, but just noticing what the hips have to say here. And let's reverse the direction. So when we say that, what does that mean? Listen to the hips. Just like we started out noticing temperature, texture, pace of the breath, depth of the breath, what are the qualities of this movement that you can notice? What does it feel like in the hip? All right. And then you can support behind the knees. In fact, let's bend and straighten the knees just a couple of times, waking up the backside of the knees and the legs. And then release that and just circle the ankles. What's going on here? And reverse the direction. All right, and then let's spread the toes far apart as you can get them. And then scrunch them together. And again, as you inhale, spread the toes far apart. And you'll exhale and scrunch them together. Just do a couple more like this. Inhale apart. Exhale, it's almost as though the tops of the toes want to touch the heels. And follow your own breath. And can the breath dictate the movement rather than the movement dictating the breath? All right, let's release that. And roll over onto your side. Gently push yourself up to a comfortable seat. And then let's rotate the wrists. So bringing the fingers together, drawing circles with the hands, rotating the wrists. Again, you might notice temperature or tingling, almost like there's electricity. Let's reverse the direction. And if you don't feel anything at all, that's okay too. It's really just about noticing what's going on. Okay, and then let's bring the fingertips together. And as you inhale, bend at each knuckle to extend the hands, all the fingers. And then as you exhale, bring them all together, bending all of the knuckles. So inhale is the expansion. Exhale is when we bring the fingertips together. Yeah, it's funny to move so intentionally with the hands, isn't it? But this can be really helpful. And the hands, to make sure you don't get any stagnation there. Just a couple more here. All right, and then let's shake that out a little bit. Move the hands to the shoulders, and then let's draw circles with the elbows. So as the elbows come forward, the shoulder blades go outside. And let's reverse the direction. So then as the elbows come down, the shoulder blades come together like you've got a little grape in between the shoulder blades. And let's release that. Let's bring the hands to the knees and draw the right ear towards the right shoulder. And be really gentle with these neck exercises. So then we'll kind of nod the head yes on the right side. So it's like you're tracing your collarbone almost with your chin. And then let's shake the head no. As you bend to the right. Alright, and then let's come out of that. So head back to neutral position. And then bring the left ear towards the left shoulder. And we'll start with nodding yes. So tracing the collarbone with the chin. Nice and gentle. The neck can be a little finicky sometimes. And then let's shake the head no. And come back to center. And go ahead and do whatever type of neck circle works for you. So you might just come and do the front side, shoulder to shoulder. If you like to go all the way around, go for it. Just make sure, I'll let you know in a minute to change directions. And then coming back to that awareness. What is going on back there? Can we see what's going on without judgment? What do you know about Ram Dass? Just this wonderful yoga teacher. Recently passed away, but he always talks about loving awareness. So can we bring loving awareness to this moment? Go ahead, reverse direction. If you're doing the full circles. Yeah, so a lot of times, I don't know if you're like me, but a lot of times when I'm observing sensation, my thinking brain likes to come in and say, oh, I know why it's this way. I know why we have so much tension in our neck. It's because blah, 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 blah. The whole story goes on. And that's not super productive for me. So I love hearing about this living awareness and inviting some curiosity in instead of this judging mind, right? Childlike curiosity. Okay, let go of your neck circles. And if you need to put a little something underneath your hips, go ahead. We're gonna do just warming up the spine a bit, yeah? So as you inhale, you'll tilt the pelvis forward, so it's like the tailbone is going behind you. And lift the chin and chest. And then exhale, the tailbone scoops under. And you round through the upper back, bringing the chin towards the chest. Yeah, so we inhale and come into our cow shape. This is like cat and cow. And exhale, we come into the cat shape. Follow your own breath. It seems like we're all doing a lot of sitting these days. So keeping our spine nice and healthy, nice and open. All right, and let's release that effort. Inhale, raise the arms up overhead. Exhale, drop the left hand by the left hip. And then bring the right arm over towards the left side. Yeah, grow nice and heavy through that right hip. And we'll be here a couple breaths. You can use the breath to help open through the right side ribs. So what is that like if we bring our awareness there? And then intentionally breathe into the right side. Maybe even visualize on the inhale more space between the armpit and the hip. And then invite some softening, some ease on the exhale. Let's inhale, bring both arms up. Exhale, slowly bring the arms down. And notice what there is there. Don't miss this part. Notice what there is to notice. Temperature, tingling, sensation. Nothing. All cool. All groovy. On an inhale, let's bring the arms up overhead again. Grow nice and tall. And the chin in towards the chest just a little bit. And on an exhale, bring the right hand down as we bring the left arm over. Again, grow heavy through the left hip. And you might spiral the rib cage open just a little bit. And if you're bendy and like taking a back bend here, then bring the pelvis towards the rib cage. Wherever you are breathing into the left side body. Again, using the breath to create some space and some ease. We'll be here about 2 or 3 more breaths. And then next time you inhale, let's bring both arms up overhead. And exhale, slowly, slowly, slowly bring the arms down. Again, noticing what there is to notice. Can you be in the hands? Can you be in the arms? What is that like? Amazing. Amazing. Okay. So if you've got something under your seat, let's remove that. And let's come onto our bellies. I'm going to do a little something here. So we're going to lay on our bellies. And you can make a little pillow for your head. Let's lift up the right leg and walk it back. And then lift up the left leg and walk it back. And then let the body be really heavy. So letting the pelvis sink into the mat. Let the thighs be really heavy. All of the leg. Again, the chest be heavy. And then can you bring the breath, I wonder, into the belly? Can you breathe really deeply into the belly? Like you're inflating a balloon. So you might feel the belly press into the mat. So let's see if we can do that for a few breaths. And if not, no worries, we're just sticking with the intention of it. And if laying on your belly isn't comfortable for you, then you can lay on your back. Let's just put that pillow on our bellies if we're doing that. You want to have some feedback, a tactical response. So wherever you are, sticking with the sensation of the belly breathing into something. Inflating like a balloon. I was in this workshop this weekend, and it was all about the vagus nerve and the whole polyvagal theory. I won't get too far into it, but we we have this big nerve that starts in our brain and goes down the throat, through the heart, and into the organ area, right? Like what we call the belly. And having a regulated vagus nerve can be really, really helpful for our health, and just feeling calm and at ease. So that's why we're doing this, breathing into the belly, stimulating some of those nerve endings. I'll just be here a little while longer. Let's see if we can breathe into the outside of the belly too. So like expanding widthwise. And the back side. So the lower back, the mid back, the back side of the belly. Can we create some space? And then if something feels tough and the judging mind comes in, can we meet that with love and awareness? So can we see the judgment if it comes in for you? Can we see the sensation and sit with it with some love, some compassion? Okay, let's let go of that. So bring the hands down by your side. If you're on your back and can come onto your belly, wonderful. So bring the hands right beneath the shoulders. Press the tops of the feet into the mat. Let the pelvis be heavy. You might even drag the tailbone down towards the heels. And then on an inhale, let's just lift the head and shoulders. And exhale, come back down. So we're just doing baby cobra. As you inhale, you'll lengthen the spine, lift through the head and chest. And exhale, come down. Follow your own breath. We'll just do this for 5 or 10 more. And if you need to rest or you want to rest, then rest. Listening to the body and being gentle gets bonus points in this class. So just a couple more. Again, letting the breath lead the movement here. Can you be nice and fluid? Let's say 2 more. And then go ahead, create another pillow for your hands. You might rock the hips from side to side, release the low back. And then can you breathe into the back side of the chest? So like behind the heart. The heart actually sits pretty deep in our chest. So can you breathe into that area in the back? Expanding. And softening. All right, and then we're gonna come into Sphinx pose. So traditionally Sphinx has your elbows right under your shoulders. That's a little intense for me. So I bring my elbows out a little bit more. I've got a really healthy pelvis and we're pressing our feet into the mat. And then we're pulling with the hands. And we're seeing how far up the back we can get this back bend without striving, of course. It's funny how quickly the ego or the judging mind can come in and say, that's not high enough. So just being right here. And breathing again into the back side of the heart. We'll be here about 5 more breaths, but come down at any point. Always your choice. You can come out early. We're not even together. We can't see each other. Nobody can see you. So do what feels best for your body. And then let's bring the intention to expand across the front of the chest, across the collarbones. And then let's release that. Come down. Rest a cheek or make a pillow. And sway the hips from side to side if that's comfortable. All right, now let's roll onto our backs. And we're gonna bend the knees and plant the feet here. And as you inhale, press the feet into the mat. The hands are down by your sides. And again, you'll use an inhale to press the feet into the mat. Strong glutes lift the hips. And then exhale, the hips are gonna come back down. So we're just gonna flow through bridge. Again, the inhale, we press into the feet, lift the hips, strong glutes. You might even poke them to make sure that they're actually working. And exhale, bring everything back down. So go at your own pace. We'll be here about a minute. Yeah, just riding the wave of the breath. And it's almost like the body's a little wave here. Again, we're mostly water, so the body likes a lot of fluidity. Don't want too much stagnation. Just a few more, but stopping at any point. All right, and then let's call this next one the last one. So next time you bring your hips down, pause. And then let's bring one hand to the heart, one hand to the belly. Bring the feet together and the knees go wide. Can you breathe into both hands here? Noticing what there is to notice. What parts are calling your attention? Can you give attention to the quieter parts too? And can you hold it all in your awareness? Just for a moment. Can you be with it all? That's a tall order. Let's grab the pillow if you've got one, and if not, you can use your blanket. Just something. We're going to come back into bridge, but we're going to make it a little more passive this time. So you'll lift your hips, and you'll put whatever you're going to put, block, pillow, blanket, underneath the hips. And then rest the pelvis on the prop. Arms can be out at your side in cactus. Maybe they're overhead. That can be a little juicy. Or if you've got some shoulder stuff or that just doesn't feel right, then bring them down by your side. If you can have them palms face up, then that's brilliant. That's going to open across the chest a little bit more. But comfort is most important here.
So we're in a little inversion, because technically the hips are above the head and heart. And the inversion can be really good for the nervous system, can be really good to help calm things down. If it becomes uncomfortable, though, you're going to come out of it. And just see about inviting a sense of softening. How passive can we be? If it's in your practice to lengthen out, straighten out through the knees, lengthen out through the legs, you can do that here. It's going to be more of a front body stretch. Might be a little more stimulating, but always your choice. Maybe here another minute or two. Again, coming out if you'd like. Wherever you are, can you bring your awareness back to the heart center? And can you come back to the idea of that warm, bright light? And if it's hard to visualize that, maybe you bring to mind someone that you really love or really miss. They might have 4 legs and they might be furry, and that's okay. Can you imagine that being right in front of you? Maybe you can give that being a hug. Yeah, I bet they'd really like a hug from you. As you're ready, let's lift the hips back up. Remove your prop, if you will, and bring the hips back down. Let's just give the spine a moment to reintegrate. And as you're ready, bring the arms out to the side. And let's bring the knees over to the right, gaze to the left. We're going to stay here, but if this is uncomfortable, you can prop your knees up a little bit with your prop, with your pillow. Or you can rock back and forth like we did in the beginning. But wherever you are in the twist, inviting a little bit more opening with the inhales on the side and softening with the exhales. A sense of releasing or letting go. And are we holding anywhere where we don't need to be holding? Are there muscles working here that aren't working to hold us in this shape? Maybe they're working because they're just used to working, or maybe they're holding something that doesn't need to be held. Check in with the face and with the hands across the chest. As you're ready, let's inhale the knees back to center. And then we'll draw the knees over to the other side. Give got the option to take the gaze in the opposite direction of the knees, but only if that feels good on your neck. Again, of course, you can prop up your knees, or you can stick with racking the knees back and forth. So sometimes it's pretty easy to be with those we love or our four-legged friends in that state of loving awareness. And I wonder if we can use that as a blueprint for bringing the loving awareness to our own bodies and our own minds. Maybe we practice that here. Noticing what there is to notice, watching what the mind is doing. All with curiosity. Holding it all in our awareness with compassion and love. As you're ready, bring the knees back to center. And go ahead and sit up for your Shavasana. So you might put your prop, your pillow underneath your knees. You might just lay flat. You might lay on your side. And whatever feels comfortable for you, go there. And I know that it's tough being virtual like this. It can be tough to do the whole Shavasana thing. But it can be a really important part of the practice to reintegrate or to integrate what we've done. So give yourself this time if you can. We'll just be here a couple minutes. So letting the body be nice and heavy. Letting the feet release. The ankles, the lower leg, the knees, the upper parts of the legs, the hips and the pelvis, the low belly, the low back, through the diaphragm, the chest, the heart space, collarbones, the upper back and the shoulders, upper arms release, elbows and lower arms, and the wrists, and the palms and the hands and the fingers. Release the neck. Release the jaw, the cheeks, upper lip, space between the eyebrows, along the temples, the forehead, and the whole skull. Let everything release, be heavy. Slowly coming back, noticing the breath, noticing the body. Wake up your body in a way that feels good to you. You might wiggle fingers and toes, rock the head. Maybe draw one knee in and the other. Eventually making your way onto your side. Either side is fine. And once you get there, pause. One more rest. Then ever so slowly take your time, let the head come up last, and push yourself up to a comfortable seat. Take your time. And then let's all raise our hands together, bring the palms out to the side. Inhale, lift the arms up, flip the palms, gather, and exhale, bring the hands down to heart center. Thank you so much for practicing with me today. It's been quite a pleasure, and I hope that you and yours are well and healthy and happy in this time. And may the merits from our practice benefit all beings everywhere, so that all may be joyful and free. Namaste. Thank you.